what they desired. And then there is a change. Then there is a change in the value, place, and popularity. Popularity becomes increasingly less important for adults as they approach the middle age. A few congenial friends mean more than a large number of groups with whom they are less congenial. Right? And the last one is changes in the leadership status too. So adults achieve leadership in different ways. So some are appointed, some are elected. So by the time they become adults, they develop those kind of qualities where they are able to initiate a leadership. The more leadership role individuals play, the more confident they become as leaders and more leadership skills they acquire. So with this, we close the early adulthood stage. Okay. So here you find what the questions. What is developmental task? Explain what about Eric's social change. It is all given in the book. Please go through it and try to answer it. Now here there is another aspect, that is the sex role adjustment. Sex role adjustment during early adulthood is a difficult task. During adolescence, boys, girls are well aware of the approval of adult sex roles. But this does not necessarily lead to acceptance. Many adolescent girls want to be wife and mother, but not in the traditional concept, because in the traditional concept, women are subordinates to their husband, and most of the time they are spent in taking care of the children and their home, and they have no time for outside themselves. While men hold positions in authority, prestige, and wage earners, and they make her advisor and disciplinarian. However, the traditional concept gradually begins to modify by replace and more egalitarian, where both the sex responsibilities of work and home. In an egalitarian concept, role should lead to fulfillment and not considered appropriate for only one sex. Men work in companionship with women at home and outside, while women can actually potentialize both at home and outside. Egalitarian concepts have found acceptance among all social groups. Also, young women learn that low prestige association with traditional concepts will have low motivation to learn the role. Marital adjustment. What is marital adjustment? This is the adjustment that happens during the adulthood when two young people get married. There is a conflict that is bound to occur as they stay together, and they are beginning to understand one another. Right? The conflict centers among forming intimate and loving relationship with one another. Successful completion results in happy relations, sense of commitment, safety, care within the relationship, and may result in marriage. Sociologist uses the term associative mating for the tendency to meet with someone who has a trait similar to one's own. Individuals are drawn to those who are similar in age, education, social class, ethnic group membership, religion, attitude, interest, and temperament. In recent years, there is an altercation in the context of marriage. Okay. In egalitarian marriage, husband and wife relate to each other as equal, not like the traditional concept where the man dominates and he does all the outside work and he doesn't give a lending hand at home, and the woman does everything all by herself, managing her home. But in this new concept of egalitarian, they relate to each other as equal. Both try to balance their time and energy, devote to their children, occupation, and relationship. Most career-oriented women expect this from the marriage. Man in the firm of marriage participate more in childcare when it comes to household work. Women spend more time in cleaning, shopping, cooking, laundry, and housework. Levinson's theory predicted that the newlyweds usually go through a period of adjustment where they experience more conflict than before the wedding. But according to him, when each spouse has achieved a new life structure that is adapted to the demands of marriage, things are much calmer. However, at any point of time, marriage problem within the marriage caused by several factors are problems and hazards in marriage, marital breakdown, risk of couples who do not believe in the marriage. It's important to be happy than to believe it is. Yeah, it is very important. Psychologists find two important types of unsuccessful marriage. The first type is the hostile and couples. These partners have frequent arguments and lack balancing effect of all humor and affection. The second time is the hostile detached partners who fight regularly, rarely look at each other, and lack affection and support. In this type of unsuccessful marriage, the ratio of negative positive encounters get out of balance and the marriage spirals downward towards dissolution. Research related to marital satisfaction suggested factors contributing to an unhappy marriage. So what are the factors that contribute to unhappy marriages? The whole list is given. I'm on page number 142. You read up, it is very, very simple, like the family background, age at the time of marriage, length of the courtship for less than 6 months, first pregnancy, negative relationship, insecure financial employment status, perception of unfairness and family responsibility, poor conflict resolution skills, and emotionally negative and impulsive characteristic personality. What is the criteria for successful marriage? Again, a few points have been given: mutual respect, pleasure, comfort in each other's company, and joint problem-solving problems. Quality of a relation. The emerging partnership system is influenced by certain skills, resources, and trait in each partner. Right? Higher levels of extraversion predict mutual marital satisfaction in both partners. The higher level satisfaction of husband is predicted by our level of conscientiousness and similar levels of openness and experience. On the other hand, high level of satisfaction in wife predicted by similar level agreeableness. A large majority of adults believe that the intimate issues such as faithfulness and satisfactory sexual relationship that are more important than the material aspect of marriage. This point of relation, attachment. As a psychological aspect that is important in marriage is attachment. The security of each partner in marriage will be attachment of each partner to his family or family of origin. Attachment variables include quality of partner's peer relationship, unemployment, or the pattern of interaction with each other which develops throughout. Love. According to Robert Strongen, love has three components: intimacy, passion, and commitment. Intimacy, passion, and commitment. These are the three things according to Robert Strongen, which is very important. It suggests a unique pattern of interaction that develops in every intimate relationship. Conflict management. Psychologists identify three different types of stables or enduring marriage. The first type is a validating couple who are partners who express mutual respect even in disagreements and are good listeners. The second time are the volatile couple who are partners who argue a lot and they don't listen well to each other. But these couples still have more positive interaction and negative interaction with each other by showing high levels of laughter and affection. The third type of marriage is the avoidant couple, also called as a conflict minimizers. These type of couples are partners who don't try to pursue each other. Instead, they simply agree to disagree and minimize conflict by avoiding each other. Adjustment to parenthood. Okay. So these young adults also, yes. Adjustment to parenthood. With the marriage at the age of people, where children having increasing, more women show increase in the interest in developing characters. Many individuals consciously choose when they'll have children, how many children, etc. Parenthood thus becomes an individual choice. The choice of parenthood is affected by a number of factors such as financial circumstances, a personal religious belief, and health condition. When the baby arrives, there are profound changes in the family in terms of responsibility, sleep, disruption, less couple for the time, and add financial role. The role of husband and wife becomes more traditional even for a couple who are in egalitarian marriage. Okay, so parenthood is adjustment to parent is one aspect, is another important aspect, and it's actually a challenge because as the kids come in, there is a lot of adjustment that needs to be done among the couples, especially the young adults. You know, to be able to meet the needs of the child, both the young adults try to adjust themselves, adjust to see what they can do to help one another and also help the child. So they do, men who are very enthusiastic of being the father are more willing to help the woman, to change the diapers or let the woman sleep, at the same time women. So together they are able to, when they are able to deal with the parenthood, that's a more healthier option. And after that is before the child is born, then after that is born, right? All the adjustments that the young adults go through to be able to help one another to deal not only before pregnancy, but also after the pregnancy, the birth of the child. A lot of adjustments happen and it is a whole process of maturation also between the couples. And then work and career. Earlier, it is also a period that individual chooses an occupation, earns a living, establishes, developing a career. Okay, according to William Diamond, purpose is one of the most important ingredients for achievement and career development of adolescent and emerging. And many individuals during this period often aimlessly and engage in behavior that does not energize nor fulfill their potential. He emphasized that many students focus on short-term goals but are not exploring the long-term goals. Studies have shown the importance of purpose in life. If it is associated with the well-being, lower incidences of cardiovascular disease and longer life. Selection of vocation. During early adulthood, many individuals, especially those who have no proper training, in particular, engage in job hopping while they try to find a job. They keep moving from one job to another till they find a place where they feel they are comfortable, happy, and the kind of work they are selected to be able to engage in work successfully, which gives them financial necessity and also responsibility. Family influence. Today, young people are less likely to choose an occupation the same as their parents. Families influence an individual job election through their value system. Parents with higher than average value of education themselves are more likely to encourage their children to pursue post-secondary studies. Employees who are more intrinsically motivated are often the product of families whose career aspirations are high. Young adult willingness is to enter various occupations is also influenced by parental moral. For example, a young adult who comes from a family who believes that drinking alcohol is moral wrong is unlikely to choose a career which involves alcohol, like the bartending or the waiting table in the restaurant. Gender. Despite women movement and an increase in the number of women in the workforce, specific job selection remains strongly influenced by gender. Still, large population of women occupies traditional female occupations such as nursing and teaching. However, women are increasing in the present dominated position. Personality. Holland proposes 6 personality types in relation to work. They are realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. He emphasizes that each of that tend to choose and be most successful at an occupation that matches our personality. Research in the Western and non-Western culture supported Holland's proposal. For example, individuals who score higher on investigative scale are generally engineer, and those who score the enterprising scale are card skills person. Individuals whose personalities match their jobs are more likely to be satisfied with their job. Some factors like vocational choice, difficult for individuals. These are ever increasing in number of work to choose from, lack of work flexibility, especially for working mother, lack of work security, insufficient education or training, unrealistic aims, values, and expectation. Vocational adjustment. Okay, so there is also adjustment of the individual in the vocation. So to Super's 1990 stage of career development is useful for describing the challenges of the individuals in various phases of careers. According to Super, there are 4 stages of career development, where is given the growth stage, the exploratory stage, the establishment stage, and the maintenance stage, right, which goes one after the other. Kindly read through this. It is not difficult to understand, so you'll be able to, right? The success and failure of early adjustment of their chosen vocation depends on 3 criteria: their achievement on the job, amount of job hopping, and the degree of satisfaction. Okay, I am on page number 146. So kindly read through this: achievements, change of job, and satisfaction, so that it is not difficult to understand. So with this, we complete the vocational adjustment, and there are questions here. And then there is, what are the personal and social hazards? Okay, what are the personal and social hazards? Majority of the personal and social hazards are later inability to master some developmental task at the age. The result of this is the individual appears immature when compared to the peers. It is not uncommon for men and women to show immaturity at some point. However, with new achievement and new expectation, immaturity gradually fades out and results in more even development or more mature. Okay, what are the following and the most common serious hazard during the early adulthood? So they are given in detail. Kindly read up: physical hazards, religious hazards, and social hazards. Okay. There is also a summary here. Please go through the summary, check the progress, right? And how these different stages stabilizes into the period between 25 to 45, and how this age is maintained till 45. Now, what are the characteristics of early adulthood? Discuss marital adjustments. Okay, so go through all these questions and fill in the blanks and all that stuff, and be able to answer it yourself. It's not difficult. You can read up. Make sure that you read up the chapter. We just completed Unit 10, and we will move to Unit 11. Unit 11 explains all about the middle adulthood. When you observe middle-aged people, more or less you should be able to identify all that we are talking here. Okay. So what is the objective of this middle adulthood? Explain the characteristics of middle adulthood, distort developmental task of early adulthood, describe the physical, psychological, social, vocational adjustment that occurs in middle adulthood. Explain the role change experienced by middle-aged individual at a family level. To discuss the importance and planning of the retirement during the middle age. So when does this occur? It occurs between the age of 40 to 60. Okay. So middle-aged adult also guides the younger generation, acts as the bridge between the younger generation and the older generation. The children finish their education and they moved out of the house. And the parents have lesser responsibility towards family and involvement in the community. Future pursuits are often gratifying times of one's life. During middle age, friendship has become more meaningful and more time is spent with friends. Middle age is also a period of individuals' career reached to peak, financial stability is experienced, revaluation of the early adulthood goals and meaning of their life is not uncommon for middle-aged people. They realize the limited time and they now have some dissatisfaction with the life and achievement, which leads to change in job, line of work, and changes in personal life, such as divorce. Now, what are the characteristics? They are given the characteristics here. They are given 10 characteristics here. It's a dreaded period as it is considered unfavorable because stereotype about the middle age, belief in the decline of physical and mental capacity, and the emphasis on the youth are moving toward the various reasons why people dreaded this period. Transitional period. It is a transitional period where the individual leaves behind the physical characteristics of adulthood and enter into a new one that is prevailing. Not only these chances of individual adjust, but also time and stress. Middle age is a period where individual experiences stress as a result of change in role, behavior pattern, experience, especially when accompanied to physical changes. Barbara identified 4 major categories of this stress in the middle adulthood. These are the somatic stress due to physical evidence of aging, cultural stress stemming from high place value of the youth and vigor and success. Another 2 include economic stress, which results from the financial burden and the psychological stress, stemming with the separation, boredom, of loss of youth and impending youth. Then there's age. It is a time when the individual experiences physical decline due to overwork, worry, carelessness, in a period where mental illness rises rapidly for both men and women. Awkward age. It is also an awkward age for the middle-aged people because the individual try to remain inconspicuous and as possible that can be seen by the dress, the choice of material, and the pattern of behavior. Time of achievement. It is also a time of achievement for them. Time of evaluation. And the middle is evaluated by the double standard. Usually by the standard for men, one standard for women. Middle age is evaluated. Two of most common aspects of the kind of evaluation is physical change and the way to age. When men not gray hair, wrinkle and gain weight, and the waist they are regarded as distinct. But such a change for a woman is considered unattractive. As the double standard is the way two sexes are. One should stay young, active, while the other one should not grow old gracefully. Time of emptiness. This happens when the children get married and settle and they move away, right? And then these people are left alone in the empty audience. It's called the emptiness syndrome. The time of boredom. During the 30s and 40s, men and women experience boredom. Men and women also with the job are bored about their work and routine, whereas those who choose homemaking as a wonderful homemaking are wondering what they will do as the children leave them. At age, no boredom is conducive or to happiness or even contentment. Consequently, middle age is often an unhappy period for some individual. Developmental task in the middle age brings burden of responsibility to every life. The period as individual is expected to succeed to survey career and contribute to the community life. The individual at this stage functions at the higher between both the younger generation and responsible for the teenage children and the aging pattern. Aviga's developmental task, okay, is just put 4 points here. Please go through and read it. Tasks relating to physical changes right? And they're relating to the change of interest as they keep moving from the early adulthood to the middle age, tasks relating to vocational adjustment, tasks related to family. And it is a period where one evaluates their success in meeting goals. And it can in the early childhood, adulthood. As a result, some individuals make drastic revisions of changes in the home, in the family and occupational component of life structure. 11th, developmental task. According to Levinson, include middle age and individuals must conform to 4 development tasks to reassess the relation themselves to the external world. I am on page number 155. Which is talking about the Levinson developmental task. Please go through it. It is not at all difficult. It is all given in a very simple language. Check your progress. And then you move to adjustment to physical, psychological, social, and vocational changes. It is on 156. Each of it is very clearly explained. Okay, so please go through this vocational changes. And the changing in the family roles, and then adjustment to approaching the retirement. Right, and then we move on to the next. Check your progress. You have given the progress model examinations are there, right? And then we come to the unit 12, and that is the old age. Okay, what is the objective? Discuss the characteristics of old age, describe developmental tasks of old age, explain how people make adjustment in retirement, describe role change experienced by middle-aged individual at family level, enumerate the physical, psychological, and social hazards during old age, delineate the role that the family remember play at an elderly care. Okay, so we move on to the last part of the lifespan development, that is the old age. And what is the period? This is the period normally from 65 years to 70, and then 75 to 84, as given in the book. So what is the characteristics of old age? You can see it's physical, it's psychological, it is social.
And social.
So what do you see in the physical aspect? The changes that occur in the body, the way they look, noticeable change, decline in vision, okay? And then they're becoming efficient in transmitting nerve impulses. Age-related muscular degeneration affects their yellowish part of the eyes, jaundice. Reaction time is inevitably affected. The people tend to move to react to their surrounding. Okay, so these are all physical things. This is especially noticeable as a prebiscus, which is reduced to sensitivity to high-pitched tones. Loss of hearing and gradual occurrence has been proven to accelerate the past 40 years of age. Psychological. Cognitive changes in older people have been widely discussed and researched. The notion of the older people becoming aware and more conscious, cognitively inept from a misinterpreted research evidence. Paul Balti stated that though cognitive pragmatic remains strong and stable throughout adulthood, age-related decline in the fluid intelligence is seen throughout the middle to the late adulthood. He also argues that the effectiveness of cultural support and resources of self-regulation strategies become less efficient. Okay, and then you have the social aspect, the physical, mental, and cultural resources decline in the older adults. The ability to self-regulate is restrained, the effect. Okay, this is mostly contributed due to the decline in physical and mental. However, the older people have been known as actively involved in social activities until in their late lives. They enjoy company of the friend as much younger people and play an integral part in their role. The prioritization related to the elements of control as we choose whom we like, dislike, maintaining touch and bonds of friendship, while same cannot be applied to the scope of family relationship. Friendship also provides us social support and it's crucial. Late adulthood is also characterized by serious stereotyping. Okay, so please read up this whole paragraph. It's not at all difficult. And then we move on to the developmental task. Let me see how many pages are there, so that in this class we are able to complete this whole thing. Yeah. I think we should be able to do it. So read up the developmental task, right, which is very easy. And then if you have any problem, you please write your question and send me on. Okay, and then we are moving towards now page 171. I'm moving because the time is up, and it is better that we finish so that no, we are able to, I mean, we can see if there is anything that specifically needs attention, we can give attention to that. Okay, so this, see, this is actually lifespan development is nothing that when we look at normally from the early childhood, from there to how people move on different developments of life till they reach the retirement stage, till they reach the old age. So when you really observe the people, you can easily make out at different stage what are the changes that is happening in the person. Like, see, when they come towards the old age, what is the things, it affects, physical development. So many things happen. Sometimes they develop cataract, they're not able to see. Like, sometimes they develop joint pain, they're not able to walk properly. So like that. So little by little, sometimes you get moody, sometimes you get cranky, they are not able to, they remember, they develop amnesia, sometimes memory loss. All this is that part of the development of the process of a lifespan of any individual, including you and me. So you think about all those things, and when you are reading, you try to connect, right? When you read one paragraph and when you're talking about the developmental challenges, okay, so middle adulthood or, or early adulthood, what could be the challenges, right? So look at the adult stage people getting married, having children, what are they, right? So what are the challenges that they occur? And what are the kind of ways they are able to cope? What do they do to cope? When you look at all this and you simultaneously also read, then you are able to make connection. And then what happens, it becomes easy for you when you are able to answer. Otherwise, see me reading, I can read the whole book, go on reading. But what happens, it will become very boring also, right? Because you're just trying to finish. With the limited time, we can only do this much, right? We can't take the whole book and read. So whatever, so the simple tips that I would like to use, now adjustment to retirement. Look at the retired people, what happens when they are retired, right? What are the problems they encounter? How do they use their time? How do they spend their time? What do they do? So it also sometimes varies from person to person. Like, you see some staying with the grandchildren because they have retired, they have a pension if they have a government job. But there are also private people, they may not have a pension, they struggle, right? So that there could be also struggle on one side, adjustments on the other side. And another side, there will be also people who are very smooth sailing, like, they have built up the house by then, they have settled all their children before retirement, they have been married and they are having grandchildren. So they do all this, right? So as you keep reading, you will have a better understanding about what is the kind of adjustment an individual does during the retirement phase. And then they also given here, social and personal, right? So leisure can also across personal culture. Young adults would tend to prefer activities that are physically intense and compared to middle and old age and all this. And then you see the religion, late adulthood also bring concept of religious belief, which each often relates to great sense of satisfaction and content. A study found that older adults who found solitude in life through religious belief, right? Now you see, find people going to Tirtha Yatra, they are going for, because all the responsibilities are over, whatever they're expected to do, it's come to think. But at the same time, you'll also find some old age people who are very active that still continue to exercise, continue to walk, they maintain, so somehow they try to adjust to their physical bodies, adjust to their situations around, adjust to their whole environment around, and how adjustment to changes in the family life. See, as you keep reading on, you will have a better understanding. So now I'm on just looking at page adjustment to changes in family life, right? There is also hazards, and then there's also. Okay, so what could be the adjustment of changes in the family life, right? There are so many things, because sometimes one spouse may die, so the person may become a widow. Then the adjustment at a different level. Okay, sometimes they may not have settled the children, right? So the adjustment is again at a different level. Or sometimes the house loan is not cleared. So the adjustment is, think about all these practical things you think when you're reading, or somebody dies in the family. Okay, all this widowhood, people dealing viewed in society themselves as individuals. The process of adjusting to widowhood can be divided into three stages, of which first stage is the preparation stage, in which spouses would prepare for the eventual loss of their partners years or decades ahead. This usually involves purchasing life insurance, preparing a will, or having children who may provide care in the old age. The second stage is the grieving. I'm reading on page number 174.
174.
In mind. Adjustment to changes in family life. Okay. So this time period usually depends on how much support a person receives from the family and close friends, as well as personal factors. Lack of social support from family, friends, and other connected groups is likely to cause feelings of loneliness, which could be devastating effect on moral and physical health of the widowed spouse. Okay. So these are all very simple. It is actually a real life thing. It's not complicated. There's no great theories and all that, right? Look at what are the hazards. What are the hazards they face? They are given three major physical hazards. What could be the physical hazard? Diseases and illnesses, that we commonly associated in later are peculiar to old age and found across all. Right? So what are the common things susceptible to chronic diseases? And at least one older people have arthritis, joint inflammation. This condition makes simply daily activities turning a key of locking, unlocking, all this small things, where they are not able to, the physical, psychological, right? What happens in the psychological thing? They develop diseases. I told you, memory loss, amnesia, sometimes Alzheimer's, sometimes Parkinson's, all this, dementia, all this comes part of the psychological aspect. And then we have the social. So in the context of family, older people spend more time alone or within the closed group. Okay, marital satisfaction, as we found, higher in older couples past age of 73 years, and have been reported to experience closeness with their partners over time. However, it is important to note the strain occurs even in the strongest of the relationship. Okay, so on one aspect, they mature and they are able to better understand all. But on the other side, also sometimes they cannot hear. So this person says something and then they hear something else. There will be conflicts, there will be problems. Okay, so all that. Here they are given them. Laura L. Catterson and her colleagues' theory for socio-emotional selectivity argues that social contact is motivated by various goals like information seeking, self-concept, and emotional regulation. They believe that emotional regulation is a major goal for older people and supports the view that people become increasingly selective about their relationship as they grow older. You'll find that they may not be as social they were as they. Sometimes they just get secluded, and they'll be very choosy about the kind of people whom they want to talk to. Or no. Patterson's theory provides a wider and more complete explanation of why older adults to a great extent do not replace the lost relationship and are more selective about the fewer opportunities to make friends due to the emotional bond. The role of family in elder care. So how can the family help? Like, what is their role, especially when they have the elder people in their house? How can they take care? But there's so many problems related to old age. Many a time that sometimes what if the children are studying abroad or they settled abroad, they are earning, and the parents are here let alone and they don't have the support system, so they
have to stay alone without children.
Yes, without children. And sometimes they are, more number of people, they develop this disease. They don't know how to, deal with them. They need some time to take care of them. Okay. So all this, then the treatment given to, if they are having insurance and, the medical card and all that, little better. And that's how we find so many old age homes and all springing, because many of the children are moving out due to jobs, due to education, moving out of the country, moving out into the city sometimes. The parents are there in the village. They don't want to leave that place because they're familiar with the surrounding. They feel comfort, they feel secure, right? And so as children, they can, as long as they are surrounding them, they can take care of them, become aware of the kind of problems that they can encounter so that they are better prepared to deal. So living with a family member has varied consequences across culture. For older adults living with their spouse, it represents continuity of their earlier life. However, for those who have moved on with the children, the multi-generational setting can be jarring when it comes to adjustment to family. It results in potential loss and independence, and privacy and conflict arises. Okay, this is what happens when the children are much younger, and they have the different kinds of hobbies and things like that. So they have a different way of living, a different style altogether. So there could be some kind of issues because they don't have the privacy. They may have to end up sitting along with them, and then they may not be able to take up that loud noise or loud music or loud party because now they are getting older and they're feeling insecure, and they want quieter moments, all this. Okay. Yeah. So please just read up this whole. Okay. You'll read up. It is very, very simple language they are given, and you'll be able to better understand. Okay, so you read up the whole thing. They are given here, even the page number 177. The caring of a parent can place significant demands and create conflict, especially for women with children of their own. Being pulled in different direction by a sense of duty and priorities can cause considerable stress on the caregiving adult, and at the same time, it can be rewarding when it comes to strengthening a relationship. I am on page number 177. The cost of caring for an older parent can often be high and not easy, and doesn't usually happen by choice. The result of caregiving and the stress can be associated with it. Monitoring their health, checking their BP, giving them tablets on their time, or sometimes when they're not able to move, they are bedridden. At that time, they hire a person or a nurse or somebody who can stay with them. Suppose if the other members of the family are working people and they have to fend for themselves, the children, they have grown-up children to take care. So what happened? All this kind of arrangements the children sometimes make to make sure. Some of them may even neglect. They may go to the old age homes, but some who can take care, but they are not able to be there physically. What they will do, they will hire a nurse or they'll hire a caretaker and keep them 24/7, to give the tablets on time, to give them meals on time, to have somebody to talk to them all the time. So all this can be part of the elderly care. So another important is the elderly care, elderly abuse, neglect, and exploitation is also a common issue across every culture. Though it is difficult to precisely define the act, the National Center on Elder Abuse 2013 has categorized elder abuse. See, this is also very common. We can see it around us, surrounding in our own environment. Sometimes it's physical abuse may result in body injury, physical pain. Sometimes, when they are not able to hear, the children or the caretaker may even beat them. If they're not able to eat, they may push, and force them to eat. And, they may neglect them. They may not give them food on time. So all comes under abuse, especially elderly abuse. When they are not able to do things on, it gets difficult. Even though they have a caretaker, it becomes difficult. Then sexual abuse, non-consensual sexual contact of any kind. This is also very sad, especially women who live alone. All the, when children are all out and this lady may be living alone, some people may take advantage of that. They may take advantage, they may even kill, they may even take the property, they may encroach on their property, they may rob. All these things they're very vulnerable at this stage. Emotional or psychological issue, infliction of anguish, pain, or distress, financial and material exploitation. They may ask them to sign on certain papers. They may have plenty of properties, right? Improper use of older adults' funds, assets. This is also very common. Abandonment, taking away all that, telling them that we are taking you to the other son's house, leaving them near bus stops or leaving them at the railway stations, and then not coming back to pick them up. And they are waiting, so they are rescued by some NGOs. And then when they ask why you are waiting, and no, my son brought and left me. And he said that he'll come back and pick me up, and then they never come back. See, all these are issues of the elderly care, especially they're very vulnerable. Neglect, refusal or failure to fulfill any part of a person's obligation or duties, self-neglect, the behavior of older person that threats or his or health safety, excluding those conscious and voluntary decisions made by a mentally competent and healthy adult, right? The current approach to elderly abuse conceptualize it as a long-term development from the relationship between parent and child, especially by adult children. It is mostly directed at the family members, especially towards elderly parents and those living in this home. Usually, the less healthy and isolated ones are at most risk. Though such cases may be assumed at rate, the truth is that more common. That is what we would expect. You see now the data. Estimated at least 2 million people above the age of 60 are affected each year, either by family members or caregiving partners. Though number may be inaccurate, as people facing abuse are often obvious, threatened if reported, or too humiliated to report to their plight. Okay, so there ends the topic about the elderly old age. You have a summary here.
Old age.
Yeah. And you see there's an answer also. List out the physical hazards. Easily you can write. Just go through that, put down some points and elaborate on those points, giving some examples so that the person who corrects understands that you understood the question and you're writing. Right? Then the summary is here. Read up the summary. Check the progress. No? And the model questions are there. Okay, go through the questions. See if you can fill in these blanks. And see if you are able to answer this multiple choice. See if you are able to match the following. Only when you read the textbook, very important for us. Without reading, we should not, because see, we have been given a syllabus to follow. Just to follow the syllabus, read it up twice, thrice, right? Don't sit continuously and study. You'll feel bored and you'll not be able to remember anything. So I'll give you a small tip. Read for 1 hour or 45 minutes, then give a gap. Right? Get up, go, stretch, drink some water, come back. Then continue again. Again, get up after 45 minutes to 1 hour, go, stretch, drink some water, keep your cell phone off, and that way you'll be able to make a nice study plan. Say each day how much you will read. Read up and then answer these questions. Then what will happen? The confidence level will increase for you. You'll be able to retain also. Keep one book, one small book, one pen. And as you're reading it, important points you note down. Right? Important things like one by one, if you note down, it gets very, very easy for you. Right? So we come to the last part, and then there is a glossary also given and model example.
I'm doing the same like this only.
Now, very good. Very good. See, that's how you should keep on writing points. When you're talking about the adolescents, what are the very good. Very good. That's how it has to be. That's how you should do, right? What are the common? And this is lifespan development is the easiest because it is so much relevant for us. No,
right.
It is relevant because it is what as human beings we go through right from the day when we are born and how we develop and the different stages that we go through till the old age. One thing is it is what is really happening, which it can be observed, which can be seen. And then we can also see the issues at different stages the children face, at different stages, the teenagers, the adolescent phase, the early adults phase, the middle age adulthood phase, and the old age phase. Oh, it is you have a nice writing, Ma. Your writing is very good. Shabash. I'm very happy. So thank you for listening. I think it is already time and I'm glad. I may not have gone through the detail, but forgive me for that. Because I want you to at least have a basic idea. If I don't do, then what will happen? I'll get stuck. I may explain very nicely, but I'll get stuck in one chapter and may not be able to complete the other chapters. Then you will miss out. So at least we are able to touch upon, give you a fair idea, a basic idea brief what each chapter entails. So that way we cover all the 11 chapters in our class. Okay. So thank you for listening. All the very best to you. Except the administrative questions, anything related to the subject, I'll be glad. Because I am not part of the administration. Anything related to examination or practical or thing, better that we check with the university. Because we are not given any notification. We have to take information directly from many students ask me. But then I don't want to give wrong information because I do not know. It is better that we get the right information from the university. And then it will be okay for us. Okay, ma'am?
Ma'am, can I'm using this model paper which you given in textbook backside.
Yeah.
So I'm following the same pattern for the important questions and the objectives.
Yes. Same
That's
pattern
enough.
quality. There are big answers. They are writing their 20 lines.
Yes.
Big answers, 20 lines. Small answers, 10 lines. Okay. And 1 or 2 marks answers, maybe 2-3 lines or something like that. Yes. Because that is the model they have given. So we follow that model. Because there is no other model. I mean, since they have already given in the book, I think you better keep to that model. Be confident. When you study nicely, like very beautifully, you have noted down. Keep that. So when you are writing, you should be able to have the recall value because you associate that with examples. Then you're able to relate and able to write. When you're like, for example, if you're talking about adolescent, what the main issues we are talking the other day about eating, disorders.
Eating disorders.
And that is leading to anorexia and bulimia. So those little things. And then substance abuse, which is again very common. And then what is it and how it impacts and how do they get into substance abuse? It's a very common. As youngsters, we see people getting influenced by their peers, people getting influenced by family, people getting influenced by traditions, people get influenced by experimentation. We try to associate, no? Then it is easy for you to write the answer.
Ma'am, I have one small doubt about the childhood. For example, I'll give you an example. There is this child studying in a school. What the teacher taught the child today, one topic or any one topic, and he was answered very well, and next day he forgot the same topic. So what is that called?
No, we have to find. You are asking, is it a practical question?
Actually, it's a practical only, ma'am. It's not from the textbook. It's practical.
Practical. Yeah, so we must find out what is the reason that he has forgotten. Did something happen? Is he worried about something? Is he preoccupied with something? Or is he focusing too much on some other thing in his life? How old is the child? It is a lot of things together. For example, if I am now studying very nicely, suddenly I'm not studying. Means it is not just that I'm not able to understand what the teacher is saying or I'm not able to remember. There are multi-factor things. I'm a human being, right? I'm coming from a family. I have a group of so many things. So we do not know.
Activities are there.
Yeah. So don't know what happened to this child, why he forgot.
Actually, I'm saying few more kids, ma'am, like this. Actually, I'm a teacher. So in my class, there are over. I'm teaching UKG and first, second also.
Small children, okay.
Yeah, small children. Actually, what happened, I don't know, maybe this pandemic, they're suffering these things. What I teach this, for example, I'll teach today letters, or 2 letters or 3 letters. He will write, he know how to write, and he know what is a letter name, what is a word. And after 2 to 3 days back or next day, when I asked to write the same letter, what I thought yesterday, they'll say, I don't know, I forgot. Simply they'll say that.
Children know their mind is divided, distracted and all. So give them small tests. They're very small. Teach them some breathing exercise. Because that will make them remember. I mean, breathing exercise is something that reduces the anxiety. Sometimes no teacher to children. The teacher is asking some more teacher is asking.
No. They'll get panic or anxiety.
They feel anxious or they can even be frightened. And they may also be playful. For that moment, over. Then they are in a playful mood. They want to go run out and play. They are not bothered. No, this because they are small. Yeah, LKG, UKG. Malaria teacher. Our concept, they are not serious. They are playful. Yes. And then this what you are teaching, Noma, is to be reinforced at home also. ఇప్పుడు పిల్లల్ని స్కూల్లో వదిలేస్తే బాధ్యత అయిపోదు.
Yes, they have to practice at home also.
So what you taught today, if the mother also reinforces or the father, whoever at home, అరే ఇవాళ ఏం నేర్పించారు టీచర్, సో నాకు చెప్పు. Same question if she asks, he will answer. Same question the brother, he will answer. Next day morning, if they are going to school, గుర్తుపెట్టుకున్నా కదా ఇవాళ నిన్న టీచర్ ఏం నేర్చి like that. No, so what happens is that learning gets reinforced. Learning gets reinforced అంటే వాళ్ళకి గుర్తుపెట్టుకునేకి ఈజీగా. Otherwise, what will happen? Because they are small. If the big people means we can tell them do pranayama, do some breathing exercises, And
actually, few parents are asking why they are forgetting. How many times I teach them, they forget. Why is there any disorder? So I'm just telling, no, you have to give a practice time for them, lots of practice time, they will remember.
Yes. It will take some time. Parents are in a hurry. 2 years only they want to send off them to school when they're only 2 years or 3 years. No, ఇప్పుడు నుంచి start చేస్తే no. See, we all, at least my age group, I was put in the school at the age of 6. Because I had enough childhood. I enjoyed my childhood. I celebrated my childhood. కానీ ఇప్పుడు పిల్లలు, it is not like that. They are sending by 3, only 3 touch avane, 3 అయిపోయింది. By then, full alphabets రావాలి. What a pressure on the child. So there is no need to push the child so much. The pressure is so much.
Yes.
So, and also, every child is unique, Amma. Now, one child may learn in 2 days. Another child may not learn in 2 days. Yes. That child might take 3 days. Some child may take 1 week. So we cannot. Antarni okate grouping lo manam cheyalem. It's very difficult, I understand, as a teacher, because you have to manage it. There are 20 people. The 20 people's level will be
different mentality, different thinking.
Yeah, so that's it. The teachers also will get frustrated teaching this kid. Cheppi. That's why you should find innovative ways of teaching. So sometimes when you're talking about the apple, they should remind them, you all eat apple, no, and show them. Some of the schools, they give them experimental learning. Valaku railway station gurinchi, like Future Kids and all, railway station gurinchi they take them to the railway station. Take appointment. And then maybe the airport. They chestara adi. So they see, they understand, and they give tours. They keep on giving lot of this thing. So they are able to organize their thoughts. They are able to catch what they saying, like that. I feel very sad when they bring small children for counseling. I'm a counselor, basically. Okay. And naku iga monna kuda one lady coming in, is only 10-year-old. Please, madam. I said, 10-year-old I cannot handle. You must find a child psychologist or somebody, because I handle only adolescents and young people, because university kada. Then she was saying, no, madam, ఒక్కసారి మీరు మాట్లాడండి. So 8 years, 10 years, ఏం మాట్లాడుతాం? 7 years, 6 years, no, it's very difficult to answer. So you don't have to be disheartened. You are doing your best job for these children. Tell the parent, మేము నేర్పించింది నేను అక్కడ రాస్తున్నా వాళ్ళకి. You also కొంచెం reinforce చేయండి. That is one tip. And as a teacher, you can even put some star performers and all that. There are so many token economy. You can give them some this thing, keep them encouraged. Rewards. Give them a lot of rewards and teach them, to tell that they can do it. Affirmation under. Affirm the child. Tell them that they can do it. They will be able to do it. And వాళ్ళు నమ్మాల. మనం చెప్పేది వేరే కానీ వాళ్ళు నమ్మితే they'll be able to perform better. So
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Madhavi.
Okay, my name is Angela.
Yes.
And yeah.
Nice to meet you, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. So all the very best, ma. And God bless you. We take leave now, ma. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye.